Luke, welcome to the show. Have you got a mascot?
I have this actually sat on my desk at work and now my desk in the home office. It was a gift from my family in the recent Christmas. You know the awkward situation when you open a present and you're just like, why have I been given this? But you're trying to pass it off as like, oh, great. Oh.
I really like your mascot. This guy, as last time, is going to be with me.
I've met Little Ed before. What number did they give you on your shirt?
He's number 3.
that is. Do you know why they gave you that number, Ed?
I thought it was because I taught year 3. This was from year 3.
So number 3 is the left back, because you're left back in the changing room.
Food tech. Is cereal soup? Why or why not?
Soup is a wonderfully diverse food. You know, if you think of the Western types of soups with vegetable versus the like Asian, is it pho?
We'll go with that.
You know, a crisp autumn day, come home from a nice walk and you have a really satisfying, filling bowl of soup. Whereas when I think of cereal, all I think is, I'd rather this be a full English. I find it deeply unsatisfying. I think that a pastry, a breakfast pastry, a full English, a hash brown, an omelette, anything is better than cereal. Cereal is just the cost and time saving thing that you eat every day because you have to. Because soup is intensely satisfying and cereal is intensely dissatisfying, I would say they are not the same thing.
Cereal is something that you have when you're in a rush. I can't have soup. I don't know how some people have that just for lunch and think, I'm set for the afternoon. I have zero energy gain from soup. It's just like drinking a warm drink.
What? No, it's intensely satisfying. Warm, crusty white bread.
I think I'm doing it wrong then. I don't have the crusty white bread.
Is the idea of, say you're sick, and I come to you with a chicken soup. Yeah. You are going to love me.
You are. It's the go-to crowd pleaser.
If you're hungover in the morning and I come to you with a bowl of cereal, you're going to be like, "Where's my bacon sarnie?" Honestly, you're going to be like, "Where's my bacon sarnie?" And you know, and for the vegetarians out there, "Where's my hash brown?" It's not going to be. Oh, thank you very much, because it's essentially soggy wheat. Like that is what you are eating. It is soggy wheat.
Politics. What are some alternatives to war that countries could settle their differences with?
I mean, I think there's only one sensible answer here, and that would be a dance-off.
Absolutely.
I just think it's cost-effective, so you're opening it up to countries with smaller GDP. You know, it's one person, you would have a champion, ideally your country's leader. It's peaceful, it's passionate. I think the rules would have to be you're not restricted to your national dance, because again, I think...
what is the national dance of the UK?
What's it called?
I know what you mean.
The guys with the flags.
Someone watching is going to be screaming at the screen going, "It's this!"
Morris dancing.
Legend. Brain is on. The coffee's kicked in.
Spain would rule the world with like...
Oh, yeah.
This is a niche reference, but I reckon Vladimir Putin would be sort of deviate, like a weird physical theatre. And I can just imagine him with the KGB posse behind him, just sort of...
Of all the people who's going to get their army in a room with just a chair and dance around it, it's going to be Vladimir Putin. He's probably going to use his judo skills, like at some point. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Him riding a horse. Have you ever Googled Vladimir Putin riding a horse?
I can't say how.
No, neither have I, Luke. It's fine. That's what I do in my room. What about a sports day? Like, you remember sports day with the egg and spoon race? Skipping was probably in there. Pass the baton kind of thing. Can you just imagine that? All the world leaders just in a sack race side by side being like, we'll discuss later the policies. Now it's on.
That would be good for a world war. Everyone in one place. Just have out.
Yeah. Get it out of your system.
For multi-country conflicts, I think that works.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I feel like a sports day with just 2 countries would just be a bit sad.
Yeah, yeah. It's like when the parents try and compete more than the kids. It's like they try and have their own race. Like the kids are all running, they're having a good time, and then typically the dads, side by side, like, oh, I'm better than my dad's better than your dad, kind of thing, and then they've got to prove it. What about a thumb war? What about the war of all wars?
Too much skullduggery in a thumb war. I've definitely had the people, the people who sort of start like this.
Yeah, yeah, and then
Dude,
yeah, that's it, that's it. So you get, I mean, two-handers is the worst, and then some people who then get the finger, you get your finger in, and you sort of tuck that in.
I don't like that. Like,
No.
you need transparency of the egg and spoon race or the dance off.
And I suppose we can't do that nowadays because it's not 2 meters distance.
It's not. Yeah, actually, it's just bad on all counts. Really.
On all counts, really. It's just a really terrible idea.
Nations with like big thumbs.
Big thumbed nations. Could you imagine that? Everyone's like doing thumb press ups now, like, come on, this is the only way we can win the war.
Like steroids directly into the thumb.
This is Hans. He once killed someone with just his thumb. I can believe him. If you were transported 400 years into the past with no clothes or anything else, how would you prove that you were from the future?
So 400 years ago is 1620.
Correct. Our math skills are okay.
Witchcraft is still a big concern of people in 1620.
Okay.
In Britain. If you are walking around in 1620 trying to prove that you are from the future, the chances are someone will think you're a witch. And I do not want to be burned alive at the stake or drowned.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I'm gonna change your question and be like, I wouldn't try and prove I'm from the future because I want to die.
In the exam questions, did you do the thing where you take apart the question? You're like, I'm not answering that. This is why the question's wrong.
Yeah. Or the other favourite was to be like, to show intellectual dexterity, you would counter argue your point in the next paragraph, and you'd start it with a big however.
Yes, yeah. Some say this, however, beat down. You've gone back in time, you've got no clothes on, you're naked in the street, and you've got to try and convince people they shouldn't burn you at the stake. It's not the easiest thing in the world.
I just think keep a low profile.
Very low profile. Get clothes ASAP. You'd have to create some sort of backstory, because the minute, as you say, you start going, oh yeah, I'm from the future, they'll be like, burn him.
Exactly, and I don't want to be burnt. The really interesting thing that actually happened in 1620 was the year the Mayflower left for America. And that was basically stick all the oddballs from the Netherlands and England in one boat and send them to the other side of the world. That's what that was. So I think they would accept a naked person who was from the future on that. I think they'd take all the hands they could grab. I'd get on that boat and get away. Yeah. Europe was in the throes of the 30-year war, and that was horrific. A lot of people died in Europe over those 30 years.
You want to get on this cruise coming up? Get on the Mayflower.
Yeah. I just think it's the idea of a new start, right? I mean, how if you're stuck in that period, it's the idea of a new start, new colony, new laws. You might end up being the boss. If you were the boss, if you were the head of the Mayflower, what would you do?
I think the first thing, I'd have to establish some ground rules on that boat, just where people can relieve themselves. Like, not on the boat. It's got to be, put your bum over the side.
You don't have a very, very high expectations of your crew there, do you? If that's the first problem is, I don't think they're going to use the toilets. I don't
think there is anything that can be established as a toilet. What was a bucket day one? That's just a no-go area.
When you're on a ship, it would be hard to miss the awkward morning after, wouldn't it?
Did I see you creeping around lower deck C last night?
Come of Sandra's hammock last night.
Absolutely not. Was not me. Just someone who looked like me. Yeah.
Why Sandra's staying on the foredeck all of today and you're in the aft? Is that why?
Yeah, because you were with Babs the night before, weren't you? God, outrageous. What would you do?
I think I would try and bring in as many modern sort of themes as I could, and one big one I think would be useful would this has got very serious, but would be gender equality. I think that it was a mixed sex colony that went over. Yeah. And looking at the COVID response, more than one sort of press companies highlighted that all the countries that did the best in the COVID crisis were ones led by women, or at least a large proportion. And I just think that trying to instill those sorts of modern values.
There'd be a lot of moments I imagine where you'd have to really sense check what they're saying. There'd be a lot of comments flying around and you'd have to come in and go, oh, can you see that? And they'll be like, well, why not? And you'll be like, well, in the future. And then they'll be like, get him overboard.
Because they would choose the drowning. You're not going to be burnt at the stake on a boat. It would.
Oh, absolutely. That's carnage. That's curtains. What movie completely changes its plot when you change one letter in its title?
I will take The Dark Knight. Dark. I'm going to change the D in dark to Park, and have the Park Knight.
Park Knight.
The Park Knight. And I think the Gotham Village Green is cared for by the caretaker Bruce, who comes from a rich Nottinghamshire family who bought him the best lawnmower that money can buy before they met an untimely death. His young nephew, called Robin.
Yeah.
It's Robin's birthday, and he is coming to the park for celebrations. But unfortunately, a pesky street performer, the Joker, gets in the way. You could get Two-Face, because there was Two-Face and the Joker. Those are the two bad guys in Dark Knight. So I reckon Two-Face, Two-Face the parking attendant.
Parking attendant, amazing.
Parking attendant. He says it's all right to park there, and when you walk away, he hits you with a ticket. Bruce has to protect the park.
Protect the park. Does he do it in some sort of disguise, or is he just daytime?
No, I think he's proud. I think Bruce is an officious man.
Yeah.
I think he just, I think the opening scene would be a bunch of young people drinking cider.
Oh yeah.
He drops down from a tree.
He probably sleeps there, just hanging upside down. Instead of the Batmobile, I can imagine him with like a little golf buggy, just sort of going around. Or a lawnmower that you can ride on. And it's like,
oh yeah, no, of course, red lawnmower.
Red lawnmower, boom.
With little Robin next to it.
A little sidecar, the sidecar on a tractor.
I'm not sure it would make as much money as The Dark Knight.
You'd save a lot of money. Save more money than Christopher Nolan did.
What do you got then?
Lord of the Dings, The Untold Story of a Doorbell Maker.
I could watch that.
Swinging in the Rain, an unexpected love story full of musical numbers about an orgy.
That dialed up.
We went next level. It went from very PC straight through the roof.
It's not one that I would watch. It's not one that I would.
Absolutely not, no.
You could do like an art film of like the keys being dropped into the bowl.
Bridesmaid, instead of Bridesmaids, so it's the low budget version, you just got one of them.
Is that not break that? I mean, I feel you would get nil for that answer.
Who's writing the questions?
Keep cycling. Keep scattergunning.
We'll move on.
This is the typical response of a kid as well who's in an exam. First question, they just go into panic mode and they just write.
Right, everything.
Lord of the Dings. Okay, yeah. Wingers?
That went south quickly.
Now you're just scraping the barrel.
Boy Story, the classic underdog tale of a ball boy rising to the top of Wimbledon.
I know that.
Wife of Pi, the sequel to Life of Pi, focusing on the stresses and strains of being Pi's wife and him going on about having been on a boat with a tiger and helping him assimilate to normal life.
Yeah, that could be a dark sort of psychological...
One for the family. Beauty and the Yeast, a young lady's struggle through 18th century France to find the right baking ingredients.
That could work. That could...
Groundhog Day, Taylor Swift can't stop reliving the same day.
That I would watch.
Star Wars, A New Pope. Han, Chewie and Leia and Luke in a quest to go to Rome to help Luke take over from Pope Francis.
I could see that. I mean, who doesn't want a Jedi to be head of a religious order?
Absolutely. Is Jedi not classified as a religious order already? I'm pretty sure in certain circles it will be. On Facebook, when you choose your religion, or when I first set it up, you put religion, and one of the options that came up was Jedi, and I had that for a bit, and then I realised it did not make me cool. Fashion next. What is the most embarrassing thing you have ever worn?
Picture a beautiful Christmas time evening. The snow is falling. A group of students decide to go to the local cathedral. to watch a beautiful carol service.
Really heartwarming. Yeah.
Celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Picture one of those people not being aware that we were going to the carol service and arriving into the cathedral, sitting down and realizing it was quite toasty, taking off their coat and realizing that in an error in the morning, they decided to wear a grey hoodie with pictures of convicts all over it. Literally people with their placards giving death stares, and was not really in keeping with the Christmas vibe. Right idea from said person was to then take the hoodie off, because of course the offending article off and you'll be fine, to reveal a t-shirt from the local nightclub, which was bright purple with a silhouette of a woman on the front. Now, taking aside that I clearly had no fashion sense at university anyway to decide to wear that, full stop, to be wearing that in a place of worship was not ideal.
I just remember the frantic looking and going, you have to remove that straight away. And you're like, yeah, absolutely. Taking it off and then going, no, that's even worse. What is your go-to meal when you have nothing in the house?
Takeaway, I feel, is an answer. What about you?
Normally it's cereal, kind of cereal for dinner. It tastes different. It's a different flavour.
That different taste is you giving up on life. Like, the most depressing thing I think I've ever heard.
I cannot be the only one. I imagine people watching are thinking, I'm not alone.
If you go, I'm going to have sodden wheat to finish my day off, like that is just give up.
Oh, I'm not going to lie. It's not a highlight of the day. It's just to get to sleep quicker. I've got to fill the gap between hunger and sleep.
So I could potentially allow a, like, do you know when you used to come home from school and you have a snack from school? Like,
absolutely. Slice of chocolate cake every day.
What?
Slice of chocolate cake every day. I came back from school and
how was your partner?
It was my mother's way of showing me she loved me.
I've seen your size of chocolate. It's not a slice of chocolate cake with you. It's a quarter to a third of chocolate cake.
What was your snack?
To a penguin biscuit.
Same thing. It's the same thing. Penguin. Chocolate biscuit.
It's not. A little penguin is about that much, and you have half the joy is the joke rather than food. A slice of chocolate cake for you is like my face.
No regrets.
Well, I've kept that sort of tradition of whenever I come home, often the first thing I do is have an edible treat. Not a quarter of a chocolate cake, but I have an edible treat. But the idea of having like a wheat-based breakfast, like that for your dinner, like that to me is just the most...
It's a cry for help.
Like there are so many levels of food that you can go through.
You've got nothing in the house. You're always going to have a bit of cereal.
Go to a shop. Like, you live in a city. On your way home, you would pass a shop. Go and cook something unhealthy in your fridge. To go, I've got, like, even just carving off blocks of cheese. I'd even go for that.
That would be healthy.
Like, go for sodden wheat. I mean, the only thing, you know what? The only thing more depressing than cereal for your final meal would be like dry crackers.
Like an oat cake.
I'm doing an intervention on you if you get to dry crackers, but you are on that border.
Got your fibre, bit of calcium. Again, it's not an enjoyable meal, but it's a meal. It's something to fill you up. I'm not proud of it, but I do it.
Oh, food is about joy. It's about stay on a high. I mean, we can agree to
disagree.
Agree on that one.
I want to see what people put in the comments. If you have cereal for dinner and it's not just a once-off, tell me about it. I can't be the only one, surely.
Also put a helpline in your description for said people who do.
If you've been affected by any of the issues discussed in today's show, please call. I'm not the only one, I'm sure.
I am struggling. Like a pack of biscuits.
Biscuits are unhealthy, Luke. Why would you have biscuits?
Because they bring happiness, and there's nothing else in your food.
In my day, there's happiness.
Well, let's be honest, if you really care about healthiness, you're not having a quarter of a chocolate cake at the end of the day.
I no longer have a slice of chocolate cake at the end of the day.
When they talk about addictions, they always say you never get rid of an addiction, you just swap it. So what is it that you swapped your chocolate cake addiction to?
Peanut butter. I have.
Oh, yeah, because that's so much healthier and so much less guilt.
I currently have 8 kilos of peanut butter downstairs because I mass bought. There was an offer on, and I have a couple of spoonfuls of that just to keep me going because I burn energy so quickly. There's a little black hole in here, a Bunsen burner just burning away all the fuel, so I need to top it up.
Do you have a medium in the middle, or is it literally just spoon, jar, go to town?
Just spoon, tub, and a great time had by all.
Even this peanut butter disclosure,
Yeah.
I'm bored with more than soggy wheat.
I could happily live off peanut butter, and I can't be the only one. If you're like me and love peanut butter, please comment. I need friends.
If you have an eclectic mix of vegetables, and you're like, I don't really know how this would make a meal, it would work in a curry, I promise you. Nondescript curry powder, tomato puree, whatever you have in your fridge, it works. It works. I promise you, and that is so much better. So much better.
That is a life hack right there.
The best food is simple food.
Yeah.
Like, the best food is simple
Cereal
food.
is super simple. Can't get more simple than cereal.
Yeah, but that's not food. It's soggy wheat.
This is something that comes up time and time again in life, and we have to figure this out. What is the right amount of time to leave before you reply to a message?
Can I answer this with a diagram? Do you mind if I quickly put it together?
Yeah, sure.
Cool to get. Are you eating cereal?
This is delicious. You're missing out. Best meal of the day.
Yeah.
Taste sensation.
This is scientific. This is a scientific answer. So can you see that?
Backwards.
What?
It's backwards. You've drawn
I
it.
mean, that's a bit rude. I know you can't usually do this in exams. I need another.
Need extra time. Crack on, mate. I'm loving this.
I am ready. This is like, how quickly do you respond to the opening soliciting text? The response graph. You have the response graph up here.
Beautiful.
So start with time on this axis and then likability on this axis. Now, the first area of the graph I'm going to point your attention to is the self-respect area that is at 5 minutes. Okay, if you have self-respect, you will not respond within 5 minutes to anyone, because what that means is you are sitting on your phone waiting for people to text you. That's what that is. Or it's the thing where you're pretending. Do you know those awkward situations when you're in like a line and you don't really want to speak to people, so you pull your phone out and you like read old texts? That's what, if someone responds to you within 5 minutes, that's what they are doing.
What if you've just received text though, and then you're like responding to a batch of texts at the same time? I would then respond pretty immediately because other texts are coming.
I mean, if you're having a chat,
yeah.
I'm not suggesting like wait 5 minutes and be sitting there timing.
Yeah.
If your mother texts you, you take half a day to respond. The reason being, she's your mother, you need to respond to her.
What if she's in an emergency?
She calls you. Like, we're talking about texts are non-urgent. Texts are like, your sister did really well today. Like, right, great, thank you very much. Or the dog's going to the dentist. Those are texts. They are not emergencies. They are not emergencies.
What about the text, call me ASAP? Call me urgent.
Oh, does your mother not just call you? If mine needs me, I just get a call.
She's worried that I might be busy doing something. It's urgent, but she doesn't want to disturb.
Yeah, I think this is the infinity sign.
Yeah, I think that is. Yeah.
Your arch nemesis you never respond to. So I think this graph tends to infinity, I think is the mathematical term.
Okay.
And then you begin to like people. So as you go from like arch nemesis to just like local knobhead,
yes.
you take slightly, you respond slightly quicker. As you can see, time is getting less. So you're responding quicker.
So the more you like someone,
then
so
the more you like someone, the quicker you get. And then you get to this sort of zone here.
Yes.
That's your like squad goals. That's your posse. Those are your best mates. You know, you respond within 5 minutes. You don't want to look desperate that you're responding immediately. And don't lose the self-respect and within 5 minutes. I think that's...
How can we not lose the self-respect?
Never going below, as you see, the graph trend never goes below 5 minutes.
Absolutely. So someone that I really like at the end of the graph there, someone that I really like.
So about here, Ed.
Yeah.
Moving from liking into sexual attraction, and that's why you see the graph then increase. You've got to do whatever you can. Do whatever you can.
Yeah, so I would say respond quickly.
No, because it's all about the self-respect, Ed.
I lost that a long time ago.
I know. So here you've got mild crush. So maybe, I don't know, an hour. Respond in an hour. But the girl you really like, hold for a day.
A day? They're going to lose interest. They're going to think you're ignoring. You've got to have a pretty good excuse why you haven't replied in a day, Luke.
I've got a really buzzing social life, of course.
That's what you text. Sorry I haven't replied. I've got a really buzzing social life.
Right, it'll be like, oh, sorry, I had an art class last night and we were busy discussing our pieces in the pub afterwards. So I'm just getting around to this morning. How are you doing? Like, I'm not the most successful at dating, so maybe this is where I'm going wrong.
It was all going well until if you like someone, don't reply for a day.
Have you never done that? Have you never?
Yes, when I was 14.
When someone texts you and you like them in a way, it's like you see their name pop up and you just get butterflies. It's amazing.
Oh, I'll wait an hour. I won't wait a day. A day, I'll be bricking it. I won't sleep that night, Luke. They've got to work a message. They need replying. I need to show I'm interested. It's where I've been going wrong as well, probably.
You go, oh yeah, it's an hour, but to you, an hour, you're in this zone right here.
Absolutely. I have composed the message within 5 minutes. Whether or not I send it within 5 minutes, oh no, that's another thing. I write it out in notes.
I'd imagine you're like the repeat every hour on the hour. It's like, you haven't responded, you haven't responded, you haven't responded.
I don't berate them with follow-up messages like, why aren't you replying? I have learned many times that is not what people want to receive.
You probably do the like bringing up a different topic of conversation. Like, oh, I just saw this.
Yeah, I thought of you translates as, please start thinking about me.
I haven't stopped thinking about you yet.
What is the one thing you want to be remembered for?
When I was 10 years old, I managed to get a poem published.
That's amazing. Have you still got this poem?
Yes, yeah. If you give me... Actually, what's your budget for this? Because I really feel Sir Ian McKellen could sell this for you.
It might just tip us over the budget. We can see if he's available.
Wasted the budget on the fight scene, didn't we? The graphics.
Yeah. I'm really annoyed that we didn't hit record as well. We're not going to have that footage.
Myths and legends. Under the ocean where the mermaids play, the city of Atlantis can be found every day. High in the sky where the phoenix flies, rising from the ashes, it never dies. Down in the labyrinth, the people lie still, in fear of the Minotaur who's ready to kill. Deep within a mountain, a dragon can be found, fighting off warriors with a thunderous sound. These are the stories from generations old, the myths to the child repeatedly sold. But are these just myths continually told, or real-life experiences from the very old?
Absolutely smashed it. You had some good vocabulary back then. What happened?
It's called Rhyme Zone, and basically you choose a word that you want to rhyme, and then you type that in, and it gives you a load of words that rhyme. I mean, to be honest, I think they put every kid's application in.
Don't downplay your achievements.
What about you?
It's beautiful. Oh, what do I want to be remembered for? This video, it's maybe a bit heavy, but the reality is I just want to be remembered for having brought joy and positivity and support to the people that have come into my life, and just to kind of make the most of the here and now with friends and family for however long I'm going to be around. It's a bit heavy, but it's honest. It's heavy, but it's honest.
I'm like waiting for the punchline. Did you never like leave your initials in a piece of wood somewhere?
Oh, do you know what? Now you mention that, I don't know if this can go in the video, I have gone on to bridges in Paris with my then girlfriend at the time. We got a padlock, one of those eternity things that you put the padlock on and go, we will never break up. I'm single. The padlock's still there.
Didn't do a good job then, did it?
Padlock didn't work. It all went downhill from there.
I told you should have spent more money on it.
Think of all the people who've got bolt cutters and like just sneak up in the middle of the night like, didn't work. What advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
More and more as I get older, I've realised it's not what you're doing, it's not where you are, it's who you're with. Having the right people around you is really, really important. You also want people who are your cheerleaders and who encourage you to push yourself and do great things.
If you would go back in time and look at the people who maybe weren't the best influence, or you kind of you're not in touch with them anymore, and maybe for certain reasons, you sort of think, oh, I kind of wish I hadn't spent so much time or investment in that person. But I think it's helpful to try and look back and take the positives from it. And I know you're very good at this, thinking these are the lessons that I've learned, and I can't change the past, so let's just make the best of it and look forward. And actually, because of those experiences, I'm now even more grateful for the people who I do want to keep in my life and who do bring that positive energy.
Think if a friend asked you, should I do this? What would you advise them? Because people are often far better at advising their friends to go for something and shoot for dreams than they are of allowing themselves to shoot for dreams. And I think that's actually a really powerful tool to be like, what would I advise a friend? And then follow your own advice. And a scientist did a study where they would speak to people and say, how much have you changed from 10 years ago? And how much are you going to change in the next 10 years? And people consistently underestimate how much they're going to change.
Wow.
They will always go, oh yeah, 10 years ago, I was interested in a different band. My favorite food was different. I'm spending time with different people. I'm doing different things. My life is not where I was expecting it to go. And then in the same questionnaire, it'll be like, where are you going to be in the next 10 years? And they'll be like, oh, probably the same. You know, I'll probably be hanging out with the same people. I'll probably be interested in the same food, and I'll probably be interested in the same music. Yes, there'll be new releases, but generally, you know, my favorite band is always going to stay the same. And actually, when you were 20, you probably had a very different favorite band, favorite food, favorite friends, favorite pastimes, and people consistently underestimate that change.
Well done, Luke. You've passed with flying colours, as I thought you would. Thank you very much for coming on the show. How was the experience?
Harrowing. I've forgotten what it's like to take an exam.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button below. And while you're here, why not check out this video above? I think you'll really enjoy it. Share this video and all the laughs with your friends and family. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on the latest truths, laughter and tips all on this channel. Check out more great content at TheHonestEd, all on social media. Thank you for watching. I'm TheHonestEd, and you are enough just as you are.